Hey, see you. This is Dean Alphadean coming live to you from GenCon. I'm hanging out here looking at everything, and I'm about to flip this camera around and let you see what's going on. This is amazing. This GenCon has been an absolute blast. But we actually have a little special thing going on as well today. We got three members from Monte Cook Games, none other than our good old friend Tammie, Charles, and then we also have Kate Evans. And so today we're going to ask them the same questions that we were asked on the CU last night, the 5 burning questions about the next edition of Cypher. And that's all it is. It's just Cypher. So the first question of the 5 questions, it had 5 votes out of the 64 people that came on and voted for everything. We had how much VTT support will the new core system have, and what VTT might be supported?
So we'll have all of it. We'll have a full suite of what you expect for a fully supported RPG in the VTT environment. A compendium, usable character sheets, a few extras related to things I can't talk about right now, and basically the things you would want. Platform-wise, we are definitely starting with Roll20 and Alchemy. I know that there's a lot of people who love Foundry, but there's an enormous amount of expense setting these things up on VTT, so we have to sort of pick and choose what we can do, and that's a combination of 2 that we can do cost effectively. But once that work is done, it does give us the ability to branch out and look at other VTTs as well.
We're also very aware that, because we did a bunch of surveys and things, that our audience pretty much is half and half, Roll20 and Foundry. And we massively appreciate that the Foundry folks are like, it's going to be amazing on there. I love Foundry, it is gorgeous. As Charles says, it is a development. So this is a starter for 10, is Alchemy and Roll20.
Right.
We are absolutely looking at Foundry.
Yeah, and so that sort of falls on the Indigo campaign, where we're basically made that same commitment for Invisible Sun. And so we're really investing in and growing our presence in the VTT space, but it is a very laborious process. It's an expensive and laborious process, so it will take us time to get to where we would like to be.
But it's coming.
That's awesome. So our next question, which had 6 votes, it says, will we see advancement beyond Tier 6?
I don't actually know the answer to that question, except I have heard the design team talk about that some of the changes will make it easier to potentially advance beyond Tier 6. However, don't quote me on that, because that's the thing I overheard, and it's not. I'm not issuing it.
And that's a true secret, right? Because I heard the same thing, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I think Tier 6 my understanding is that Tier 6 is what we're shooting for is the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's changing,
But I think Monte, Shauna, and the whole design team knows that people have a desire to go beyond that. So hopefully, we'll let them know.
Also, occasionally, if we stop and look blank or look at each other, it's mostly because it's like, we can't tell you that, or we've forgotten whether we can tell you that or not, and we don't want to get killed by the design team because they're lovely and also frightening. But
particularly when we're repeating something that we heard,
Yes.
That came up in internal discussions in the company. It's worth pointing out we've been working on Cypher 2 for about a year. About a year since the design team started getting serious about it, and so that means a lot of iterations. And so if you ask us about something that we haven't personally play-tested very recently, it's entirely possible that our information might be out of date. But we'll do the best we can for you.
Also, there's a lot of voyeurism because we're marketing, but we have access to this, so you can see everything that's going on. So they're kind of like, what are they doing now?
Right.
So we're just as excited as you guys about this, which is awesome.
Yeah, because all of our Slack channels, everybody in the company can see all the stuff in the Slack channel, so we see their discussion. Obviously, we talk about it a lot internally in our meetings and whatnot when we're all together, and we've had a number of playtest rounds internally as well. So we're not out of the loop, but we're also not like the insiders of the creative process, and don't want to represent ourselves as such.
No. We do also massively appreciate that when you guys are chatting online, you are very much aiming it as though Monty, Sean, Bruce, Shauna, all the rest of them are listening, and we can neither confirm nor deny that they might be listening anyway.
Right.
But they're not going to say, because it's like, what should we say about this? Like, maybe we should mention this. So yes, wicked.
That's awesome. We've had our speculations about them,
Oh, no,
watching us and, so on and so forth, because we all have our speculations.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the next question is, how will genre abilities affect flavors?
I don't think I know the answer to that question.
So specifically, we can't say specifically from a design point of view, but the aim of it is when you are playing a genre and a genre character, it should feel way more like that genre, and also have the ability to. So if you're doing fantasy, there is the high fantasy option, there's the gritty fantasy option, there's the fantasy with a little bit of something else thrown in there option as well, and the whole deal is whatever you're playing should feel much more like the thing that you're playing.
Now that said, the ability to build your own campaigns and do all the tinkering from scratch is going to be retained, but I can't answer the specific mechanical question about whether or not how that affects flavors as a mechanical aspect. But as far as I know, they're retained more or less as they currently exist. I also think that while we look at genres, we would do, like, as you say, variants on fantasy, variants on sci-fi, hard sci-fi versus space opera versus post-apocalyptic sci-fi. But then there's also some plugins that are not their own genre. They are a way to flavor a genre. And so horror is actually one of them. Horror is not being treated as its own genre, because you can do a medieval horror, you can do a fantasy horror, you can do a sci-fi horror like Aliens or whatever. So horror is like a module that you attach to things, and I think that may also be like and there's magic, right? So you could have an and there's magic element of sci-fi or of modern or whatnot. And I think so some of the things will be handled in ways that are kind of like flavors, but the mechanics will be different because they'll be designed to more easily plug right into your game.
Now, with that being said, there was an honorable mention question. I wasn't going to touch on them, but the things you just said kind of made me want to ask this particular honorable mention. And that honorable mention question was, will there be any changes to the core types?
So, all of the genres are getting types. So if you want to play space opera, instead of saying space opera uses explorers, but you want to only give them these abilities, space opera has its types. It has star pilot, and it has, space wizard, and it has space knight, and it has space marine, or whatever I don't know what they are actually off the top of my head, but those are types built for that genre. So as Kate was saying, it will feel right out of the book like you're seeped into that genre right away.
Awesome. So, with that being said, another question was really big on the server. It had 15 votes. And it was, how do all these changes affect Numenera, and will the new character creation, wound system, and so on and so forth affect that in any way?
That one's super easy. If a game is its own game, it's not being changed by a new edition of Cypher. So Numenera isn't changing. Numenera is its own game. It uses the Cypher system engine, but it is its own game. Tidal Blades is its own game. The Magnus Archives is its own game. These rules, we're not going to try and retrofit the games to these rules.
All right.
And a lot of the time, the development of these games has led to Cypher and the second edition, because as we're tinkering about it, as we're playing the things, as the designers are going through going, this is really cool, why can't we use it for X? And also, we know that a lot of gamers and GMs out there are already using this in their games. So we're like, well, given that we're all got Cypher system and we're all tinkering with it, the next step is let's streamline it and allow you to use these things in your games.
And the last question that they asked had 18 votes. Just how backward compatible will this new system be with the previous Cypher products?
Right. So pretty much every Cypher system product will remain compatible to some degree. Now I say that pretty much, I'm caveating there because when we did the 2019 edition of the Cypher System Rulebook, Expanded Worlds was a Cypher System product that was compatible, but not really very useful, right? So like, I don't want to make a promise that everything will, that there won't be some things that are kind of like you're not going to use it as much. Well, let's talk about creatures, right? There's 1,800 creatures in the creature finder. If you go on to Cypher Tools and look at that, to make any one of those creatures work with Cypher, you need to adjust its damage. That's it. It's a one-sentence instruction. It'll take you about 5 seconds. You change the damage stat. That creature is fully usable. If the creatures are usable, then the adventures are usable. And if the adventures are usable, the campaign settings are usable. So pretty much anything that isn't a building block of a character is 100% usable.
That is awesome. Tammie, Charles, Kate, thank you all so much for taking this little bit of time out of your Gen Con to share with the community. We all appreciate it. We love you guys, and we really, really appreciate all you're doing. And I can tell you, as 1/3 of the Cypher Unlimited crew and one little pebble in the Cypher community, we are excited.
Thank you. We are very much as well, and thank you. It's massively cool to have you support.
Guys, from us at the CU, we will see you later.